There are certain moments in life when time suddenly feels louder than usual. It's not the ticking of a wall clock. It's something quieter, deeper. It's the clock inside your chest, gently reminding you that something important is shifting. Something is passing. Something is no longer the same. You feel it when you are waiting for something to begin. You feel it again when you are afraid something meaningful might be coming to an end. And that tension, the part of you that's unsure when to act, when to speak, when to hold on, and when to let go, slowly becomes a storm inside your mind. Because timing, we realize, isn't just about hours or minutes. It's about life itself. We are taught that courage matters, that clarity matters, that action and wisdom matter. But what we are rarely told is this: none of it truly matters if the timing is off. Even the right action, if taken at the wrong time, can cause pain instead of peace. This is why Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, does not begin with urgency. He doesn't begin with movement. He begins with stillness. He begins with silence. He begins by waiting. He lets Arjuna break down. He allows the battle to rise in tension. He watches the field fill with warriors and questions. And only when Arjuna is on his knees, overwhelmed and searching for clarity, only then does Krishna begin to speak. Because Krishna never speaks too early, and he never arrives too late. His presence, his words, and even his silence are always timed to the exact moment when they can truly land, when they can go beyond the ears and reach the soul. That is what divine timing means. And learning to feel it may be one of the hardest, yet most beautiful, lessons of all. There is a powerful moment in chapter 11 of the Gita, when Krishna reveals his cosmic form. Amidst that vision, he says something that pierces deeper than any weapon ever could. He says, "Time, I am, the great destroyer of the worlds." He doesn't say that he controls time. He doesn't even say time is his tool. He says he is time itself. And just like that, the way we understand life begins to shift. Time is not just something we move through. Time is something that moves through us, with rhythm, with force, with purpose. It doesn't wait for us. It doesn't ask for permission. It simply moves forward, dissolving everything we try to hold still. Not to punish, but to transform. We often think we are just waiting for the right time. We are waiting for the fear to go away. Waiting for someone to give us permission. Waiting for signs. But Krishna teaches something far deeper and far more freeing. Time doesn't wait for our confusion to end. It doesn't pause until we feel ready. And it doesn't slow down just because we are unsure. It keeps moving. And in that movement, everything begins to change. If we act before the right moment, when our heart isn't clear and our mind is full of fear, we only create more restlessness. But if we wait too long, if we keep postponing out of hesitation or doubt, we might miss what was meant for us. So how do we know? How do we feel that right moment? How do we sense when it's time to speak, to move, or to let go? The answer isn't found in calendars or clocks. It doesn't come from outside pressure or other people's advice. It comes from within. Krishna doesn't speak to Arjuna just because he should. He speaks when Arjuna is ready, not mentally, but emotionally and spiritually. He waits for that moment of surrender, when the noise of the mind grows quiet, and the soul begins to listen. Surrender is often misunderstood. It's not weakness. It's not giving up. It's the moment when you no longer argue with life. You stop resisting. You stop forcing. And in that quietness, something else begins to guide you. In that space, timing becomes clear. Because now, you are not led by fear. You are led by presence. And presence can feel what logic cannot explain. Krishna waits for that shift. He waits for the ego to soften. He waits for the heart to open. And then, only then, he begins to guide. In your own life, there will be moments like this. Moments that seem ordinary, but are sacred. A decision you are holding. A conversation you are not sure you are ready for. A feeling inside you that says something is changing, but you are not sure what. And in those moments, timing is everything. Not the kind of timing that comes from pressure, but the kind that rises from stillness. Sometimes it's the message you almost sent, but paused. The call you didn't make, not because you were scared, but because something in you knew it wasn't time. The dream you held gently, without chasing. This is where Krishna's wisdom returns, not as a dramatic lesson, but as a quiet truth. Power doesn't always come from motion. It also comes from patience. Not the kind of patience that avoids life, but the kind that is fully awake, fully alive, and deeply aligned with the right moment. There is a strength in waiting, a strength that gathers, a strength that prepares you, silently. So when the real moment does arrive, not just any moment, but the one meant for you, you are no longer acting from habit or anxiety. You are acting from truth. That's when your movement becomes powerful. That's when your step becomes sacred. And even a small decision made from that kind of clarity carries the weight of something far beyond you. Later in the Gita, Krishna gently reminds Arjuna that every action must also be done without attachment to the result. This too is a lesson in timing. Because when we are attached, when we are desperate for something to work out a certain way, we lose clarity. We lose patience. We rush, we force, and we act from fear. But when we let go of that attachment, not the commitment, but the outcome, our timing becomes graceful. It becomes clean. It reflects something higher than our own plans. That is what Krishna models. He doesn't move fast. He doesn't move slow. He moves exactly when the truth calls him. This kind of mastery takes time. It takes failure. Sometimes you'll act too quickly and feel regret. Sometimes you'll wait too long and miss the door. But these are not mistakes. They are how we learn. And slowly, your inner ear sharpens. You begin to hear the difference between the voice of fear and the quiet pull of readiness. You begin to understand that not every offer is meant to be accepted. Not every reply must be spoken. Not every emotion must be acted on right away. You begin to walk differently, not slower, but deeper. Because now you know, the moment will come. And when it does, you won't need to force it. You'll feel it. You'll know. And you'll move, not with panic, but with peace. Because when your timing is rooted in presence, even the simplest action becomes meaningful. But when timing is off, when fear leads the way, even the best plans can go wrong. Krishna's steps were never accidental. Every word he spoke, every silence he held, every move he made, it was all aligned. Not always easy, not always understood, but always true. And that is the invitation he leaves for us. You don't have to move faster. You don't have to fix everything right now. You only need to be still enough to feel when something inside you shifts from fear to quiet knowing. That shift is timing. That knowing is your answer. And when you act from that place, From that stillness, your action itself becomes a prayer. So if it's not time yet, wait without fear. And if it is, move without doubt. Because time is not your enemy. Time, as Krishna reminds us, is your teacher. And when you learn to walk in rhythm with it, you won't just be on time. You'll be timeless.